Well, in this video we're going to talk about the wisdom of the Prognosticars. We've got two different sections in here to talk about, and these are upgrades you can put on your characters for the Grey Knights. Stick around. Wisdom of the Prognosticars. Let's see how we can use these. If your army's battle forge includes a Grey Knights detachment, excluding auxiliary support, super heavy auxiliary, and fortifications network, blah 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 blah. You can upgrade any Grey Knight character models in your army by giving them either a vision of the Agrium or gift of the Prescient, chosen from those presented here. Each time you do so, that character model's power range is increased by the amount, etc, etc. So give it to characters. You cannot give it to squad leaders. It's purely just characters. Named characters cannot be given any of these upgrades. Each character model cannot have more than one of these upgrades. And an army or crusade force cannot include the same upgrade more than once. They're not considered relics, take them with that relic. So over here you've got a bunch of points and power levels that increase. So first we've got visions of the Augurum. I hope I said that correctly. So first one, Augury of Aggression. Once per battle. So these visions, basically it's like the Grey Knight was having a sleep before the battle and he's like gone, oh man, this is going to happen. You know, or his ghost Obi-Wan's come along and gone, you know what, man, this is some serious shit going on here, so I'm just going to give you some advice. This is what's going to happen. So a lot of this is just like their psychic abilities just popped in and they've got like a warning about something that's going to happen. So the Augury of Aggression, once per battle, when a friendly Grey Knight's core or Grey Knight's character unit within 12 inches of this model is selected to fire Overwatch. This model can experience this vision. If it does, then until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an Overwatch attack, a hit is scored on an unmodified roll of 4+. That could be good on a purgation squad, or if you've got like a big squad of paladins with 4 special weapons, things like that. You've just got to have that character within 12, so typically if you're planning on taking a character to buff one of those units for whatever reason, that's not a bad vision to give that dude. We've got Heroism's Favour. Once per battle at the end of your opponent's charge phase, you can select one friendly Grey Knight core unit within 12 inches of this model. That unit can perform a heroic intervention as if it were a character. There's a chapter that gives you a stratagem that does that. Essentially, it means you can do it with 2 units in a turn if you played that. Sorry, I said chapter, I meant Brotherhood. It's not too bad. The heroically intervening is actually quite useful. It's just, it's ranged, so you got to be within the 12. Usually you'd probably throw that in a character that's in the meat and potatoes. Enable Death. Once per battle in your command phase, this model can experience this vision. If it does until the start of your next command phase, it gains the following ability. Enable Death, Aura. While a friendly Grey Knight's core or Grey Knight's character unit is within 6 inches of this model, it gains the objective secured ability. See the blah 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 book, and can set to defend. If a model in that unit already has this objective secured ability, that model counts as one additional model when determining control of an objective marker. Set to defend is actually interesting. You can have a unit of, like, let's say paladins who are core, but they do not have a Brotherhood keyword. You can stick them on an objective. They've suddenly got objective secured, so they're going to hold that objective if the other opponent doesn't have it. And being able to set to defend means you'll be able to Overwatch on 5s, and you'll get an additional plus to hit in combat as well, or one or the other you get to pick. So that's quite useful. Quite useful. It just becomes an aura. Yeah, 6-inch aura. So that character's going to have to be nearby if you're going to use this one. Then we've got Omen of Incursion. Once per battle at the end of your reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase, This model can experience this vision. If it does, select one Grey Knight's core or Grey Knight's character unit from your army that is not within engagement range of enemy units. That unit can shoot as if it were your shooting phase, but its models can only target a single eligible unit that was set up as reinforcements during this turn, and it is within 12 inches of their unit when doing so. This one doesn't look like it's ranged. It just goes onto a unit. It gives them basically the Auspex stratagem that the regular Marines have. You can only do it once per game, so basically you're going to have to pick carefully. Basically gives them a free shooting as well. Not too bad. Not too bad. What's that cost? That's an expensive one. 30 points. Is it worth 30 points? Think about that. Okay. Presage paralysis. Once per battle at the start of your charge phase, if this model is on the battlefield, you can select one enemy unit on the battlefield. Until the end of the phase, that unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. So that is also one that doesn't have a range. You literally just go, these guys can't Overwatch me, these guys can't set to defend, and then you just go in and smash them. There are some armies that rely a lot on their Overwatch, like Tau, for example. Being able to say that they can't Overwatch, that can really hurt them. You've just got to make sure you can get the charge off as well. Then we've got Foretelling of Locus. After both players have deployed their armies, select up to 3 Grey Knight core units. Keyword there, core units, not character or core, just core, from your army and redeploy them. If the mission uses the strategic reserves rules, any of those units can be placed into strategic reserves without having to spend any additional CPs, regardless of how many units are already in strategic reserve. If both players have abilities that redeploy units, roll off. The winner chooses who redeploys their units first. So this is done after you know who's going first. So both players have set up everything. You've rolled off to see who's going first, and then you go, okay, I can redeploy stuff. They say, I can too. You roll off, whoever wins that, then redeploys the units, and then you then redeploy yours. This is good for a couple of reasons. It means if you suddenly realize you're going second, you can then set up defensively. If you suddenly realize you're going first, you can set up aggressively, because there's no more seizing the initiative. And also as well, it's another trick that you could use. So if you've got 1,000 points of your 2,000 point army already in reserve and you wanted to put more in, you can go bang, 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 reserve, and then suddenly you've got like 800 points in reserve if you want. Might not be the best idea, but if you're up against an army that can move really fast, they can just stop you getting onto the table and things. But if the opponent has set up all their stuff on the board and you suddenly go, I'm going to get shot to pieces, could be a good idea. Anyways, that's all of the visions. The gifts of the Prescient, True Name Shard. So these are all actual physical items that they've got on them. Like one of the high up Grey Knights that's been around for like 1,000 years, he's just gone, yeah man, this is the sickest thing ever. Here's a gift to you. True Name Shard. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, you can select one demon unit within 6 inches of the bearer. That unit is not eligible to fight this phase until after all eligible units from your army have done so. That's not too bad actually. You could put that on Mortarion or Magnus or Be'lakor. It is very situational. Fight Last is pretty good, especially against some of those big heavy hitters. You know, someone throws a Great Unclean one or Bloodthirst Raya. Sorry mate, Fight Last, bang. How much is that one? It's only 10 points. I'd consider it, I definitely would. Temporal Bombs. Before the battle, select one area terrain feature that is not within your opponent's deployment zone and note it down secretly on your army roster. The first time an enemy unit starts or ends a move on or within the terrain feature, reveal your choice and roll 1d6. On a 2+, that enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. It's not too bad. Mortal wounds, mortal wounds. Servant of the Throne. I do quite like this one. Once per battle, when the bearer is selected as a target of an attack, it can use this gift. If it does, then until the end of the turn, the bearer has a 3+ invulnerable save. That is fantastic for a Dread Knight Grandmaster. He can be targeted at all times, and he will get picked on. He really will. Being able to jump up to a 3+ invulnerable save can keep him alive a little bit longer. Not bad at all. Deluminator of Magistry. Deluminator. The Deluminator of Magistry. When you give a model this gift, select one bolt weapon that model is equipped with. Once per battle, when the bearer shoots with that weapon, you can choose for it to fire a Deluminator of Magistry bolt. If you do so, you can only make one attack with that weapon. But if it scores a hit against a demon unit until the start of your next shooting phase, that unit loses any aura abilities it has, in addition to any normal damage. Not bad. That's very specific to demons, but good old Mortarion has quite a lot of auras. You throw that at him, it's like, sorry bro, you can't nerf me anymore, for a turn at least. Very situational, but if you're building specifically to play against the demon army, not bad. Gem of Inoktu. Once per battle, when the bearer is selected to manifest psychic powers, you can use this gift. If you do, then until the end of the phase, each time the bearer attempts to manifest a psychic power from the Dominus discipline, add 2 to that attempt's psychic test. I've seen a lot of people talk about throwing this on a librarian, one of the Smite librarians. It specifically says Dominus, so you cannot get the +2 for your Purifying Flame. I'm sorry, you also can't get +2 if you wanted to cast, what's it called? Purge Soul. It is specifically Dominus only. Very useful though to get off a couple of those high powers. I think Gate of Infinity is now Warp Charge 7. Empiric Amplification is also Warp Charge 7. Warp Shaving's 4, but that would mean on basically a 2 or higher, you're going to get Warp Shaving off. It's guaranteed it. Vortex of Doom is also 7, so the Dominus disciplines are actually somewhat high-ish. Just kind of means you're going to get them off a bit better that one turn. If you've got the Warlord trait from the Ward makers, it doesn't say you have to roll an 8+ unmodified, it just says 8. Oh, sorry, it is. The result of the test was an unmodified result. Yeah, okay, sorry. You can't get it on the 6, it's 8. Unmodified 8. Anyways, Gem of Inoktu. So the last one is the Severance Bolt. When you give a model this gift, select one bolt weapon that model is equipped with. Before the battle, select one enemy character unit. Once per battle, when the bearer shoots with that weapon, you can choose for it to fire a Severance Bolt. If you do, you can only make one attack with that weapon. But when selecting a target, you can ignore the Lookout Sir rule as long as you select that character's unit as the target. When making an attack with a Severance Bolt against that character unit, if it successfully hits the target suffers D3 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. If the target is a Psyker, roll 3d6. If the result exceeds the target's leadership characteristic, randomly select one psychic power that it knows. That Psyker cannot use that psychic power for the rest of the battle. Imagine if, for example, if you're playing against an Eldar player, they had some Farseer with Doom and Jinx, and you've shot them with this thing, just gone poof. Like, sweet, D3 mortal wounds and you lose one, bang. Doom or Jinx is just gone. You know, Tyranids have some very specific psychic powers that they need. Boom, gone. Can't use them. So, another one that's situational, but it's quite good if you can do it. I do like these. The problem is the situational ability of them is, it does mean that you're probably not going to see a lot of them in comps, even though they're really good. Like the True Name Shard I think is great, but it is situational, you know. If you come up against a Be'lakor army, sorry Bellicor, you're going last. Boom, and then I'm going to attack you with my demon killing stuff. You know? But it might make it into this, it might not. But either way, that's it. That's the gifts of the Prescient. Stick around for the next video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all the usual stuff. Give me some comments. I'd love to hear your feedback, guys. Ciao.